Bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right, welcome, Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Today's Thursday, July 14th, 197 days into the new year, 169 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California, and I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black. For KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet, I am your oh-so-humble host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? All right. Crazy news day. We must do what we must do. Tonight is another Fader Night open lines with Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake newsroom. He will be with us at the bottom of the hour. The call-in number, this is your night. It is Thursday night. Is 323-825-5045. You can follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio, Facebook, YouTube. Everything is Fade to Black, Jimmy Church Radio. You know what to do. Go follow, like, and subscribe. Go click on those three buttons on the website. You can also email throughout the show tonight. I'll get to as many as I can. It's going to be a busy night tonight. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Of course, the sandbox is hashtag F2B in Twitter. Come and hang out with us. Any questions or comments during the show, use the hashtag F2BQ. I'm going to get straight to it. Crazy news day. Absolutely crazy. And before we get to that, be sure to visit our sponsors, Life Change Tea. Click on the banner. Use the promo code Jimmy when you order, either over the phone or online, to get free shipping. It's very simple. Just go to the website, click on the banner. Go to the specials page, getthetea.com. Also, check out our other sponsor, all of our sponsors, Studio Dome, and their Fader Night special, which is 2 SBB2 speakers and power in a hard shell case for $129. Use the promo code JCRTWS, 60% off the normal price of $399. And, of course, you will also get free shipping. Coming up in 3 short weeks, we will be at the Awareness Life Expo at the Crowne Plaza Hotel in Sacramento, California. That is August 12th, 13th, and 14th. Richard Dolan, Lori McDonald, Victor Camacho, Patty Greer, Holly Cook, Glenn Caston will be broadcasting Friday night, August 12th, from a very special VIP gathering at the Crowne Plaza. Tickets and info are at awareness-life-expo.com. You can just click on the link over at our website. Want to get to this as quickly as I can. I'm not going to change the format of the show because of the breaking news that we're dealing with right now with France and the city of Nice and what went down today. We will be covering it in full as the information comes to us here. Now, so, like I said, I'm not going to commit to the darkness, so we will keep the format of the show together tonight. And I'm going to start with this. Happy birthday to Jane Lynch. She is 56 today. Of course, she starred in Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, which she was great. She was great in all of them. For Your Consideration, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Talladega Nights. She was great. And she was also really cool in The Rocker. Jane Lynch, 56 today. I got to go with, as much as I want to lean on Best in Show, I'm going with A Mighty Wind. She was absolutely stellar in that. All right. On this day in history, 1995, a revolutionary new technology is christened MP3. That's right. It happened on this day. Changed the world. And 4 years later, Nearly every record company and music store closed up shop. There you go. That was a big day. MP3. Fate or fact. Need some brightness in our world, don't we? Cristiano Ronaldo, the soccer player, funded the education of a 7-year-old survivor of the 2004 tsunami in Indonesia. He was found wearing a Portuguese soccer jersey. That's right. He grew up to be a soccer player and was signed by the Sporting Lisbon in 2015. There you go. Tonight, it's a Fader night. Open lines with Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom. The call-in number, of course, is 323-825-5045. It's all about you. Don't forget that. Thursday night. Normally, I'm happy to be here. But today, at least 80 people were killed when a large truck plowed through a crowd celebrating Bastille Day in Nice, France. The driver pointed his tractor trailer into the crowd and accelerated, literally plowing and mowing bodies over. Police shot the driver to death. And as of right now, nobody has claimed responsibility. More on this breaking news later on in the show, but the daily darkness of the media continues, and it's unrelenting. And tonight, I need to address what has been a very trying time for not only us here in the United States, but all around the world. And our thoughts, prayers are with the people of France today. But I've been getting a lot of email and comments and postings about my rant on BLM, or Black Lives Matter. And all I said was, all lives matter. And the email, it's continuing, and the comments are continuing. And I have to say that sometimes it just sucks to be white. It does. And you are not allowed to speak the truth. You can't if you're white. It's against the law. But here you go. For me, just buckle up, because tonight I'm not scared. And after everything that went down again in the news cycle with France, I'm really not scared. Somebody needs to speak up. Now, just listen to me and listen to everything that I have to say, because by the time that I am finished, I think you're going to understand. In 2015, a real-time database to track fatal police shootings was launched, and it continues this year. The project is ongoing, and you can go and check it out for yourself. And as of this past Sunday, 1,502 people have been shot and killed by on-duty police officers since January 1st, 2015. That's 1,502. Plug that number in. Of them, 732 were white, 381 were black, and 382 were of another or unknown race. And I know what you're saying right now. You're going, Jimmy, you need to be fair here. The numbers are skewed. I get that, okay? But chew on this. According to the most recent census data, there are nearly 160 million more white people in America than there are black people. White people make up roughly 62% of the United States population, but only about 49% of those were killed by police officers. African Americans, however, account for 24% of those fatally shot and killed by the police, despite being just 13% of the U.S. population. Now, these are very telling numbers. Now, however you want or choose to hear the data, interpret it, that's up to you. But one thing is painfully clear. This is not racial. The police do not see color when they pull the trigger. What the media has done, and a very good job, I might add, is doing this. They want you to believe that only black people are being killed. That's the intention. And you are listening. So much so that you are compelled to write me and tell me that I'm wrong, that it's a BLM thing, that it's a black thing. And clearly, that is not the case. The killing is not racial or black. And according to the data, they are being very fair. It's a pretty even distribution of killer cops and who they target. It is everybody. Now, this is where things get crazy for me. And I'll say it out loud, and I'll say it right now. Nobody else will. And I get that, but check this out. I am not allowed to say these things. Yeah. Why? Because I'm a white guy. And to make things worse, I'm the real kind of white guy. I'm pale, overweight, and Caucasian. I'm the whitest of the white. And white guys cannot have an opinion about racism. Can't talk about it, can't think about it, can't speak the truth. We are trained from a very young age never to say certain things, never to think certain things. We can't. And we know why. We do. I get it. We get it. You get it. But trust me on this. If I were black saying these things, it's no big deal. People would listen. They would say things like, go black Jimmy, go. But I was born white. And I can't change it. The cards I am dealt. But screw it. And honestly, tonight I'm just going to speak the truth. Somebody sent me a T-shirt. And they sent me a T-shirt that said, Black Helicopters Matter. It's funny, right? I laughed. I laughed right now. It's funny. You are laughing right now, or you should be. It's a great shirt, too. But I can't wear it. I can look at it in the privacy of my own home. I can do that. But I can't wear it. Can't put it on. I might be able to get away with it once at a UFO or a conspiracy conference. Might pull that off. Once. But even then, probably not. Someone would inevitably take a picture, and then it'd be all over. And that, my friends, is sad. Wear that shirt in public just once. White man down. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. But what about, and I started to think about this, what about a White Lives Matter shirt? What about a White Lives Matter shirt? What's wrong with that? According to the data, I'm entitled to wear one. But I can't, and I wouldn't, ever. Why? Not that it would be racial. Some would think that. But no. Because it's not fair. The movement, the shirts, the attitude, it needs to be not black, not white, but that all lives matter. Think about that. And if you want to make a stand against the man, you want success, you want to be heard, print that shirt. Run that rally down the streets. Think about it. So, just go with me. When I said that all lives matter, I get email. And lots of it says that I'm not allowed to say all lives matter. I can't do that. I'm not allowed to. No joke. But the emails, they don't say why, but we all know why. I'm white. I get that. And that's where the media has won. They've turned this into a racial thing when that simply isn't the case. The real data is the opposite. But that doesn't sell advertising. That doesn't get clicks. Nope, that doesn't get you nothing. And if you think that I've gone too far about speaking the truth right now, I'm not done. I've just gotten started. Far from it. Listen, I'm not stupid. When a cop pulls up behind me, you know what? I don't care. I hardly notice, if ever. and things don't start running through my mind. I don't trip out. I don't. I get that. I fully understand. But let me tell you, drive around Los Angeles for a day. Anyone, I dare you. And take some notes. Take a piece of paper and a pen. And every time you see a car pulled over, just drive by and look to see who's driving. Black, Mexican, Asian, anything but white. I'll say it. Nobody else will. And I'm telling you, it's 100%. Try it. It's an amazing thing to witness. You can do it in real time on any given day. And if you do end up seeing someone white, it's probably a 95-year-old Jewish lady from Sherman Oaks who's driving 5 miles per hour on Ventura Boulevard. And trust me, she'll be helped home, and her car's not going to be searched. She won't be seen cuffed facing the wall while they run her license. But try driving while black on Ventura Boulevard doing 5 miles per hour. Man, I'm telling you right, I don't even want to think about it. But anyway, I recognize this. But if that's the case, which it truly is, 100% of anybody you see pulled over is anything but white. And if that's the case, then why isn't the cop killer numbers the opposite? And I'm telling you right now, nobody else will talk about it. Nobody will mention, nobody, and especially a white guy. We can't, but I will. And if that's the case, everybody that's getting pulled over is anything but white, right? Then why aren't the cop killer numbers skewed? Why aren't they the opposite? And that's where the Black Lives Matter argument falls short. Who is getting shot and killed? Well, I'm here to tell you now, it's everyone. Cops just don't seem to see color. And that's where I'll hear the comeback, and I know I can already hear it now. Yeah, man, but if you're black, the odds are... You know what? Stop. I really don't want to hear it. The odds are that if you have a pulse and you live in America, you must wear body armor. That's what the odds are. More on that in a minute. I've got those numbers too. You just stay right there. But there are a few reports that are hard to come by, and I've done a lot of research on this. And one is, how many black officers have killed white people? Don't hear about that. How about Mexicans? Asians? Shouldn't that be a concern? Are we saying that black, Latino, or Asian officers simply don't shoot or kill anyone? It's just white? White on black? That's not the case. Why do they pull over? Who do they pull over? How do they racially profile? We don't hear about any of this. The news won't report it because it's just not that exciting. Can you imagine right now a news director, CNN, Fox, your local news, the news director, right, reporter, and he says, wait a minute, you brought me a Latino cop killing an Asian person story? What kind of crap is this? Bring me the white, Aryan, racist cops killing the black kid on his way to school. That's real news. Bring me that story. Because that's all we hear. And for the media to continue to portray this as a racial thing, it's falling short of the responsibility of being fair, truthful, and honest to us, to me, to you. Think about it. And it just doesn't happen. Something or someone out there is trying their best to divide this country, my country, your country, to create hatred where it just doesn't exist. It doesn't. And the media is playing their part in spreading their lie. And I will not be part of it. I will not. The real problem is that our law enforcement, the real problem that nobody wants to talk about, is that law enforcement is way too trigger happy. That everybody is dying. 1,502 deaths since January 1st, 2015. That is the real story. But no reporter, no journalist, no news network has the courage to stand up and tell the truth. They won't do it. And because they don't, I end up getting hate mail that I'm a racist. I'm not a that's the craziest thing ever. It's because you are listening to the media. You don't know the truth. 1,502 deaths in this country since January 1st, 2015. Why isn't that the story? Just how big and out of control is that number? Do you have any concept of what I am trying to say here? It is so out of whack, so ridiculous, and so hard to wrap my mind around that you have to ask yourself if it is even possible to achieve a number that high. 1,500 deaths in a year and a half at the hands of law enforcement? That's insanity. But then I'm sure what you're saying, hey, man, it's just us. It's got to be the same all around the world. Everybody must be doing it. Well, how many people were killed in London, England, you ask? Great question. And I have that answer. Are you ready? Are you sitting down? 49. 49 single deaths. That's a 4 and a 9. 49 single deaths killed by law enforcement officers in the United Kingdom in any manner, with a rock, with a slip and fall, including shooting. Just 49 since, get this, not this year, not last year, since 1920. That's right. 19-20. Not January 1st, 2015. Am I pissed off? The media has managed to just twist this around and get this so bent out of shape. Got your head swinging around on a swivel, trying to deflect. And you know what? It's working. To the point where I get email because I just want to say the truth, which is all lives matter. And you just... Check this out. How many people in all, not Toronto, not Montreal, how many people in all of Canada have been killed by law enforcement? And I'm talking about bank robbers, hit by a car, whatever, all numbers, killed by law enforcement in all of Canada, the entire country. Are you ready? 133 since 1932. And if that's not enough, how many people have been killed by law enforcement in all of Germany in 2015? Last year. Are you ready? 2. 2. The number is 2. So to say that we have a problem here in this great country of ours is an understatement. But it's not racial. We are all potential victims. Just imagine for a second. Just imagine the real rally in the streets. White, black, Latino, Asian, and other lives matter shirts. Arm in arm, holding hands, all at the same time marching together down the boulevard. Think about that. Because it's not racial. It is us. So please, save your BLM email. Save all the racial hate. The real conspiracy is that they are trying to get the attention off of them. What the real problem is, they want you to look in the other direction. Do not listen to the media message. Listen to your heart. That's right. I've said it once, and I'll say it again. This white guy says that all lives matter. This is Fader Night. Our thoughts and prayers are with everybody in France. I cannot imagine what that country is going through tonight and going into tomorrow. Once again, the darkness is winning, and we cannot do it. And if anybody is listening to me in France right now, do not let the darkness win. And because of this latest news cycle thing, the media gets to avoid the focus of them bringing the darkness into this country with the racism. Because that is not what we do here. We are much better than that, and we recognize. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. When I come back after this short break, the one and only Jon Rappoport. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can send that email right now to Jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. This is Fade to Black. This is truly bespoke radio for the masses on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Stay right there.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I got to tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. It doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil three-letter. So, seriously, give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
Hi, folks. GetTheTea.com is the place where the popular Life Change tea calls home. But did you know Get the Tea is also where you can purchase GMO-free organic supplements? You can read about their potent power at GetTheTea.com. Also, they just added a YouTube channel called Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. Education about our health can be a life change. Maybe that's why our famous tea is called Life Change Tea. Learn about the trees for life. Our supplements have no fillers, no wheat, no rice, no garbage. And our tea is wow to the body. Make a conscious health change. Educate yourself on the most powerful essence of life, which is your health. You want more? Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Or visit our YouTube channel at Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. And don't forget our fabulous mild detox tea at GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fadernauts rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake Newsroom in deep space, which is the space that we suspect to be true, that the world as it is fed to us every day by the Ministry of Truth is a lie, a false reality, a movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All the screens crash. They all go down and we see the light of day, a new day. No more robots, no more androids. It's the No More Fake Newsroom with Jon Rappoport. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Jimmy. All right, what do we have tonight here, folks? Well, we have many stories breaking all over the place, but I want to focus on the protests in America, street protests. Are they protests? Are they riots? Cops are being shot. People in inner cities are being shot. Demands are being made. People are being warned not to go into certain cities, not to go into certain areas. What is happening here? So I want to walk this back. Walk it back far enough so that we can take an actual look at what's going on here. The inner cities of America used to be called ghettos, used to be called before that slums. These are the areas. In 1966, President Lyndon Johnson declared a war on poverty, and a massive program was initiated. A bill was passed, and it's been estimated that since that time until now, $2 trillion have been spent on trying to alleviate poverty in America, and much of that money has gone into these inner cities. And things are worse now than they've ever been before. How is that possible? Well, stolen money, for one thing. There has never been a review, an accounting of where all that money went, into what programs, and where it didn't go, and whether it went to places where it was earmarked to go, and who took it away, and who absconded with it, and what they did with it. And my bet is that there will never be a study of that kind, because this scandal would be a ripper. Point two, globalism. The effect of globalism on jobs in America, and we're focusing here, again, on inner cities. Manufacturing jobs. By these various trade treaties, which I have talked about before on this show, NAFTA, CAFTA, GATT, and now we have the TPP, Trans-Pacific Partnership, coming up for ratification. This is a free pass for giant corporations, especially manufacturing corporations in America, to close up shop here, take their factories, put them in hellholes overseas where they employ people at slave wages, export those products back here where people have already been thrown out of jobs, massive numbers of people. No tariffs, no taxes, no penalties. That enables these corporations to sell the products here at a profit. Because what do these trade treaties do? They remove the tariffs. That's how it works. If they didn't remove the tariffs, this whole flight of capital and factories would never have taken place. And so in poverty-stricken areas in inner cities in America, which already suffering high unemployment figures, it gets much worse. Spreads like wildfire. People who had jobs are thrown out on the street. Things are boiling. Things are boiling. Point 3, gangs. The presence of gangs, ubiquitous across America in cities and especially in inner cities. Creating and maintaining a climate of fear, danger, violence for all the residents who are virtually held hostage and trapped in those areas. Unbelievable tragedy. And what is being done? Has there ever been a comprehensive federal strategy for wiping out gangs? Has that ever been a major agenda? No. Never. The gangs are permitted to remain in place and are supported, in fact. Why? Because they work for major drug cartels in drug distribution. And the drug industry, by which I mean here the street drug industry, is very big business. Very big business in profits. Hundreds of billions, if not trillions, for major players, some of whom are in government, some of whom are connected to government, some of whom are behind and above the government, such as banks like the HSBC Bank that was discovered to have laundered gigantic amounts of money for drug cartels. That's big biz. I believe there is credible evidence that federal agencies made a deal with the biggest drug cartel in Mexico, the Sinaloa, whereby there would be clean, uninterrupted routes of travel from the southern border of the United States up to major hub cities in America, particularly Chicago, for redistribution of drugs. And in that deal, what Sinaloa provided in return was actionable intelligence on its rival cartels to the U.S. government, who would then make seizures and arrests, but not the Sinaloa. There would be no major interruption of service there. And so these gangs continue to flourish, continue to make life in inner cities unsupportable. Danger, fear, violence, shootings, deaths. Next point. No support, and you've got to really screw in your brain tight on this one. In inner cities, despite all these odds, there are people, relatively few, who by sheer dint of imagination, persistence, conviction, willpower, have launched successful local businesses. Do we ever hear about them? Rarely, maybe a photo op here or there. But has the federal government ever considered supporting these brilliant people who have managed to succeed? And with a tiny fraction of the money that has been wasted on the war on poverty, turn these successful business people into long-term instructors, teaching their neighbors and other people in inner cities how to really do it. How do you really start a business and make it succeed? Not just in theory, not just in the classroom, but in real life in these places, because they are among the heroes, these people. Zero support for the positive. Zero support for the positive. Why is that? Because big government wants to define, control, and solve all problems itself with no outside interference. We are the government. If there is poverty, we will make war on it and alleviate it. But we will not give our power to be the problem solver over to private citizens who actually know what they're doing and are succeeding at it. Never going to happen, because government, big government, is formed as a collective for a collective society in which ultimately there are no heroes, no private sector heroes. That is what government does to restrain and repress the positive side of things. Next point. Want to know about cooperative enterprise in inner cities? And I believe I've mentioned this on the show before. In several cities across America, there are already what's called urban farms in inner cities, at least one of which in Chicago actually takes place inside a large building. Of course, they're also outdoors. And what happens in these urban farms? The people who live there, the residents, are taught to grow their own fresh, clean food. They eat the food. They get nutritional value, maybe for the first time in their lives. They also learn how to do something exceedingly productive, grow food, creating nutrition, responsibility, cooperative sharing of crops, of food crops, all ages from the smallest kids to the oldest people. A magnificent undertaking. Do you see any tiny trickle of federal money going into these inner cities for urban farms? Barely a whisper. Barely a whisper. When in fact, again, understand this, for a tiny fraction of the money that has been wasted on the war on poverty, you could create, with a little bit of aid, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 20,000 of these fantastic urban farms in cities across America, in inner cities across America. And that alone would revolutionize life in those places. That alone, if nothing else happened. But again, does the federal government recognize this, acknowledge it, do anything about it? No, because that would be letting power out of their hands in Washington and putting it into the hands of the people who are already there on the ground. That really gets my blood boiling, that one. And of course, we could go into detail about the shameful, vicious mortgage loan practices in inner cities whereby people who don't read the tiny volume of small print in their contracts eventually are stripped of their homes because they can't make payments and are thrown out on the street. So what is all this adding up to here? This is adding up to the creation and maintenance of a permanent underclass of people in America in these inner cities. That's what has happened. Not only has it happened, but it is the objective, the purpose, the goal, to create an entirely government-dependent on government, permanent, expanding underclass in America. And not just to get their votes in election seasons, not just for that, but in fact to gradually sink the entire nation into a vortex, a widening vortex of poverty, conflict, division, shaming, guilt, etc., 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 on and on and on and on. It's divide and conquer. And a great deal of what we're seeing now in the news that's happening in inner cities, where, by the way, if you wanted to add up where violent deaths are really coming from, only a very, very small fraction involve police shootings of residents of those communities. Most of the violence is coming from gangs, the shootings, the killings, etc., etc. So what we're looking at here is a plan, a program, a covert op, a psychological operation, all of the above, a conspiracy. Let's use the word because it applies correctly. A conspiracy that, by continuing to expand and maintain so that it never goes away, this permanent underclass that is entirely dependent on the government for survival, that this will engender enough conflict with other sectors of the economy, other people who live in other places, shaming, guilt, it's your fault, the white versus black, the white versus brown, the brown versus black, on and on and on and on, with over and over again charges of racism this way and racism that way and racism forwards and backwards and inside out and upside down, all over the place. Bringing things to the boiling point and over the boiling point, to wreck the country, to take it down, to propose a fictional picture of what is actually happening in these inner cities, as opposed to the real factors that I've just sketched out for you. Factors that, as I've mentioned, could be corrected, could be turned around, but certainly not by the federal government, because the federal government fully intends to continue owning those inner cities and holding those people who live there hostage. This eventually, and we're seeing it in stages now, begins to envelop the entire nation in a, quote, dialogue, in a, quote, conflict, accusations back and forth, to the point where no rational discussion can take place about what's really happening here, and therefore no solutions. While behind the scenes, the federal government and those people who control it are intentionally manufacturing this continuing state of affairs. In exactly the same way, by the way, as I've indicated in other reports here on the show, that in the so-called third world, where generations of generations, starvation, malnutrition, extreme poverty, conflicts, armed conflicts, lack of basic sanitation, lack of clean, nutritious food, etc., etc., etc. All of these factors have produced massive generations of illness, disability, depletion of populations to make them easy and ripe for takeover, not only by local dictators, but by massive corporations who come in and gobble up the arable land, the resources, the cheap labor, etc., etc., etc. But there are always cover stories, you see, to obscure the fact that these local dictators and their allies, their foreign investors and so forth, are invested in keeping this permanent underclass teetering on the edge, too weak to resist. That is a very comparative picture to what is happening in America now. Quite a useful comparison to see where all of this is heading. And no matter what the people in the Congress, and no matter what the people in the Senate, and no matter what the presidents, this one, the last one, the one before, and so on, say and mouth, etc., about, oh, we want to improve employment numbers, and we have, and we want to lift up everyone, and, all of this kind of a religious, messianic rhetoric, which is nothing more than a house of cards and vague generalities and promises and so forth, and we're all in this together, and I'm with you, and I understand, and I feel your pain, and all of this that has been broadcast by leading politicians over the decades is nothing more than a cynical smokescreen with no intention of ever putting anything into practice that actually works. Sure, you can get freebies. There are freebies available, but these freebies can connect you even tighter to dependency upon the government. And what do you think happens to people? What do you think would happen to you if you were living for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and thus your children also growing up under all of this system whereby you have no work, you have no vision for your own life, you have no future that you see. All you have is dependence for survival on the government. How likely is it as time passes that you are going to become energized and motivated to do something, to step out of this horrendously oppressive system and make your own way in the world, which of course is the objective for everybody? Your own power, your own creative insight, your own vision, your own future, your own imagination of what you can achieve and what you really desire to achieve. How likely is any of that going to happen when people are buried and buried and buried further under in this lunatic system? And then, and I'll close here, all of the rhetoric comes out, and I'm not just talking about government rhetoric now, academic rhetoric, sociological rhetoric, piled on, media rhetoric, editorial rhetoric, broadcast rhetoric, that you see nothing that's happening in the present can be judged or really evaluated except by the causes from the past. And if the causes from the past were debilitating, if people were held down, if bad things happened to them, etc., 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 then that explains, and that alone explains, why they are in the situation they are now. Thereby actually encouraging people to think of themselves and envision themselves as victims, permanent victims. That even adds to everything that I've been talking about here, on and on and on and on. And so what eventually happens? Resentment, blame, accusation, and so on and so forth. On all sides, all sides. Personal responsibility, never heard of it. Personal existence, individual existence outside your background, ethnicity, race, religion, etc., etc., you as a unique individual apart from all of that, never heard of it. Never heard of it. Maybe once it was a faint idea, but it's gone now.
You need to run for office. Again, actually, you need to run for office again.
Yeah, again, right.
I was just sitting here listening, John, and mesmerized, by the way, but I think I have a fix. I could fix everything in one day. I literally could. So say, Jimmy, how would you do it?
Jimmy, how would you do it?
I would have all three branches of government, all three, in one day. I would force them all to take a bong hit of the icky, sticky, a bong hit, because they would go back and look after they, got nice and high, and would take a look around and go, this is ridiculous. This is what I do is ridiculous, and what I am pushing for is ridiculous. The lobby is ridiculous. The judicial system, the prison system, the taxation, the Fed, the executive branch, they would look around and literally say, this is ridiculous. They would take a good, long, conscious look at themselves, and wake up. And I don't want to sound like a hippie from the 60s, right? That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm just talking about a realization of one's own conscience and morals. And it would happen instantaneous. It would be a 24-hour turnaround.
Well, I'm all for one's own conscience and morals, that's for sure, because that puts you outside of wherever, you were automatically operating before, and you suddenly see, like you say, what have we done? Look at all of this.
How did we get here?
Look at this insanity.
Yeah,
right?
How did we get here? Right. I just don't understand it. How did we get here? And I try to be happy. I do. I stay happy. I really do. And the last couple of weeks, as I've watched the media treat the world as if they were just stupid, right? And just suck us down. And it's not only the racism issue that is being pushed upon us, this non-reality. But it's the divide and conquer that is going on with these two folks that are running for office. They are dividing everybody up, and it just feels so wrong. And I just how did we get here? We should be, and this is what's weird, John. I believe that it is all one big conspiracy. I really do, man. And I'm going to unravel it somehow, some way. But I look at this and I say to myself that the way that we want to be and our goals and the way that we set things off in a direction, it was correct and it was right. And then I just sit here today and I look, I just don't get it. It's really, really tripping me out. I don't know. And people look to me to be the answer guy. I'm not always the smartest dude in the room, but I just look around and I feel and I see, and the media is responsible for pushing the agenda of somebody else instead of speaking the truth. And that's a crazy thing to me. I don't understand, because I know that most journalists like yourself, you go to school and you want to change the world, and you want to go out there and be the man on the street and uncover and gumshoe and all of that stuff, right? That's what you want. And then something changes, and the media and responsible journalism has gone by the wayside, for clicks and advertising dollars. And I just don't know how. But
that's why I left it. That's why I left it, because that's what it had become. And I would just say one quick thing, and that is the founding documents, the way, as you say, it all started. It started in a good direction, the ideas.
Well, you know what, John? John, stay right there. Keep that in your head. I'm going to keep you on for right after the break, okay? I got to hit this network break on time.
All right.
So let's do that here. You just stay right there, John. I want you to finish that thought. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's Thursday night. It's Fader night. I'm opening up the phone lines right now. 323-825-5045. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. 323-825-5045. It's Thursday night. It's Fader night. I'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie Lee, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com. Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
FoodForLiberty.com sells high-quality, storable foods from Numana. And right now, take advantage of our summer special. Purchase 2 family packs and we'll send you a Pro Pure Water Pitcher, a $70 value, free. This premium pitcher is ideal for use with just about any water source and removes more contaminants than other brands. And it comes with a filter that lasts up to 2 full years. Whether you need to be prepared in the event of an emergency, you're an outdoor sports enthusiast, Numana is known for high-quality, great-tasting, GMO-free, super nutritious food with no chemical preservatives. And with a 25-year shelf life, you can't beat the feeling of being food secure when you need it most. Go to foodforliberty.com right now for great-tasting, high-quality, storable foods from Numana. Buy 2 family packs and get the Pro Pure Water Pitcher free. It makes good sense to be prepared. Get it at foodforliberty.com.
Imagine no longer being tied down to your computer, but having the freedom to take live talk radio with you anywhere you go. TalkStream Live introduces our first ever iPhone application. The talk shows you follow now follow you, and your iPhone is now the fastest and easiest way to stay connected to the best talk radio on the internet. Let TalkStream Live transform the way you listen to radio. Listen to live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mobile talk radio from TalkStream Live. Now available in the iTunes App Store.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Thursday night, Fader Night, 323-825-5045. This is your show, and I do want to hear from you. All right, Jon Rappoport. You know, John, this is the thing now. You've got this, groupies now, okay? And they're here every Thursday night. Trust me, they're not here for me. They're here for you. And I'm sure that feels great, but it also bears responsibility. And you started to touch upon that right before the break and to get that thought out. And I just want you to share that. What was it that you were trying to get to?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the word responsibility, because that's exactly what I was going to say. The founding documents of the Republic of the country, Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, good ideas, they were there. It started to move in a better direction. But in order for those things to work, there had to be a certain level of personal responsibility among individuals and families. It wasn't a situation whereby people were going to identify themselves with some larger group and say, we have needs and we can't do it and this and that, and so on and so forth, to the point we are now where the entire country seems to be a collective made up of these various groups all clamoring for attention and special treatment. That is not workable. And as soon as that began, or let's put it this way, as soon as it was conspiratorially engineered in that direction, then they, the people who were actually running things in business and government, took control, because then they could say, hey, you know, this whole thing about freedom and independence and so forth and your own personal vision and whatever, you know, that's hard work. That's really hard. So what we want you to do is let's put that aside for the moment. And we want to give you a different idea of how this whole thing works, which is that it's all about help. We're going to aid, assistance, help, aid, assistance, help, aid, assistance, help, and on and on and on. And some people were saying, well, that wasn't what we signed up for. You know, that's not why we're here. We got it. We're good. Okay? But no, it was an invitation, basically, that was handed out to people, all people, not just some people, but everybody. Hey, there's another way to go here. And this way, you see, you can do less and you can get more. That's the clue. Do you see it? And we'll show you how it's done. Of course, you'll be under our guidance, meaning control, but you'll get some goodies and you'll do less and get more. Oh yeah, I like that idea. And that's how the whole thing was engineered to go off the rails, because you can't have the ideas in these founding documents succeed in any way unless you have that sense of personal power and responsibility. So that's my finishing thought on that.
Well, I want to thank you for that. And everybody out there, you need to start your day off on nomorefakenews.com, Jon's website. It's always insightful, and that's where I go every single day. And then I go read, the BS out there. So that's what I do. Thank you so much, Jon. Be safe out there, and we'll talk to you.
You too, Jimmy. Thank you.
Thank you. Jon Rappoport. Okay, I'm opening up the phone lines, 323-825-5045, 323-825-5045. And it's your show. I just want to hear from everybody tonight. And again, everybody over in France that is listening to us, our thoughts are with you. It's just, I cannot imagine going through that once again. And I was hanging out in one of the chat rooms here and responding to a couple of emails while I was listening to Jon. And I saw the point, and it was made like 3 times right in a row, about there's one thing about France that irritates people that cannot stand the freedom of thought. And, France is the French are fun. The French like to eat, they like to drink, they like to smoke, they like their music, they like their poetry, they like their theater, they certainly like their movies and creativity, and it's always been about that. And they represent, man, the Eiffel Tower right there, man, Paris, represents freedom of thought. Debauchery, bacchanalism. Yeah, it's all about that. And because of that, you're the beacon, man, and that's that. Oh man, it has to be a lot of what's going on here. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, this is Sue. And
hi, how are you?
Scottsdale. I'm great. How are you?
Doing good. How are you tonight?
Great. I just wanted to commend you on what you said at the beginning of the show. It is so right on. And they are trying to divide us as people in this country and completely destroy any remnants of the life we all grew up with. And they're winning at the moment. They're creating fear. They're creating a problem. They're getting the fear-based reaction. And my biggest fear is they're going to move in with martial law. And people are going to be so afraid they'll let it happen.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is not, I'll just say it out loud. This is not the Alex Jones show, although I hear exactly what you're saying, right? I do. But I will never go there. I'm just not going to do it. What I'm tired of, what I mean is when I say I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to fall into this fear-based thing. I'm just not. I'm not going to do it. I'm fed up. No, it's okay. It's okay. I'll let you finish too. What I'm fed up with is the lack of responsibility from the media to dig at the truth or to represent the truth. That's all. Because by and large, across this country, you know what? We did our best to deal with the wrongs of the past, racism across this country. Not only white, black, but everything. I mean, just go back to what we did with the American Indians. I mean, I'm embarrassed for that, but I didn't have anything to do with that. And neither did you. Right. Slavery, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed, but I had nothing to do with that. And the busing and the racism and the things that went through the 70s, I grew up with that crap. And we did all our best to get through it and to grow up. And today we look around and this whole racism thing coming back is just like, wait a minute, we're not racist. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Yeah.
And the media is wrong. They're wrong for doing this to us. Now, who is forcing the media's hand? Who is that? Who is that puppet master? I don't know.
The global controllers, the corporations, people who have money to make on it. They're separating us from each other with fear, and people have to love each other more and stay positive, meditate, don't eat GMOs, and that will help. I know it sounds silly, but that will help.
You live in Scottsdale. And
yes, I do.
Yeah, and Scottsdale, Camelback Mountain, man, that whole area, I love it, man. Lincoln in 38th Place, man, is a very cool area.
Beautiful.
I know what I'm talking about, don't I? Right? Just by me saying that,
certainly do.
Right? But just by me saying that, you're like, church, you know what's going on. But
absolutely.
But Phoenix, Glendale, Mesa, right? Gilbert, it is a mix. You have a cultural mix of everything in Phoenix. You guys have a taste of everything there, right?
We do. It's a real melting pot of people.
It is. You guys have racism in Phoenix? No.
Lots of, some.
But you know what I am saying here? So when you hear about, what the media is and you drive around up Indian School, there's no racism,
Not at all. And I'll get a call from a friend in New York and saying, are you guys okay? I hear the drug cartels are taking that place over. And I go, what? There are no drug cartels in the streets. That's the media.
It's all the media. And the rest of the country, I don't know if you have been to New York or to LA or to Miami, but if you when you walk around Manhattan, where you go from one block to another, where you go from a Cuban district to an Italian area, Puerto Rican and everything that is there. I mean, German and Polish, and it's all there, right? There's no,
it totally is. And, I grew up in New Jersey, so we have a lot of that back there.
It's all over New Jersey and the Bronx and Queens. And this is the same thing here and San Francisco and go to Dallas or go to Houston and you go to these great cities, Chicago. And, it's not the way that the media is trying to tell the rest of the country how it is. And the country's like tripping out. They're like,
exactly.
I don't see what you're talking about. And they're trying to force feed this to us. And that's where the conspiracy starts. Who is driving this agenda? I'm not in any way going to get sucked into this racism thing. Somebody is forcing it, and it's not cool.
No, it isn't. It's really sad, actually. It's very sad. And it's tragic, and it breaks my heart because we're better than this.
I think
everybody's better than this.
This time around, they're going to lose. This battle, they're not going to win. I'm
praying.
You can try to force it, and your name was Sue, right?
Yeah, Sue.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
so much, Sue. And I miss Scottsdale. I haven't been there in a while.
Oh.
I miss Tempe. Man. You know.
Well, you guys should take a weekend and come over and enjoy yourself.
Oh, man, I just love it. I used to, my favorite hotel, since you're in Scottsdale, I used to stay at the Sunburst Resort. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah, great place. I'm giving them a plug. But then I used to also stay up on Dunlop and the 17 at the Sheridan Crescent. And that was right. There was like an amusement park across the freeway there.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was my hangout. That was my hangout, and I just miss it. And the gin blossoms and everything about Phoenix, I just love, and Rob Halford and all that.
That's
So,
neat.
yep. Phoenix
Well,
is a great town. So be safe
It's a great
out there.
town. Love the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sue. Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. And that's why I love this audience right there. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. I wanted to make a comment because Rita has been telling this story about what happened with us and talking about oppression. Now, she said this happened 8 or 9 years ago. Now, this is 2016, so that would go back to 2007. That's about right. And so when I talk about what's going on here with the police, and first off, I respect the police. Okay, I do. When you're in trouble, no matter how much you complain, when you're in trouble, you're still dialing 911 and you're hoping they're going to come to your door. Okay, somebody breaks into your house, you hear some noise downstairs, you're going to call 911 and they're going to come over and fix that problem for you and keep your family safe. So I don't even go there. But there's a problem, obviously, with training and everything else. I don't know how it has swung around to this, but the numbers here in this country to have 1,502 people killed by police shootings in a year and a half in this country is insanity. It's just insane. That's not indicative of the way the rest of the world is running. So we've got to fix this problem. Now, this is what happened. I'm just going to clarify because Rita's dealing with 140 characters at a time. This is what happened, and this is how crazy it's gotten in this country. We before we bought our house, we were renting from this family. And it was a compound, really, really nice house, electric gates, room for 20 cars in front of the house, big driveway, nice place, nice house. Okay, don't think anything else. And on the side of this house was an apartment that was there. It was built for one of their daughters at one point when she was going to school. I think that was the case. Anyway, so there's this apartment, and we rented the apartment that was part of this compound. And I'm telling you, this is, $1 million property, nice place. In the back, it was sat on about, I think Rita could help me out on this, but it was about an acre of property. And in back of the house, on the property, they built an apartment that had, I think, 2 apartments in it, 2 stories. And there was 2 families that lived back there. And that's it. That's the whole story. Everything's cool. Everything's great, man. Everybody, it was, we lived there for a few years and it was nice. But one night, watching TV, I was dozing off and it was about 10 o'clock at night. Our daughter was in her bedroom asleep, and I'm going to guess and say she was like 8 years old. She might have been 9. And Rita was sitting with me in the living room, and I hear a helicopter outside. I think, and it just kind of was like, whoa. And I was dozing off, and I get up, and as I look out the window and I see this spotlight in our front yard, caller, stay right there. I'll get to you in just a second. I see the spotlight, and as I trip out, I'm like, wow, there's a helicopter like landing on our house. I mean, it was right there. I could see it, see the numbers, see the pilots' faces, it's right there. And as I turn to Rita and start to say, there's I don't even get helicopter out, our front door gets kicked down. And in through the door comes a SWAT team. And this was a little 2-bedroom apartment, right? Very small, living room in the front with a kitchen, and then the bedrooms in the back, shaped like a trailer, kind of like. I mean, long and thin. It wasn't a trailer, but it was long. It was narrow. And these guys just come in, kick down the door, dress flak jackets, grenades, machine guns, the SWAT helmets, body armor, the whole shooting match. And they don't do any. They don't ask questions. They are not, no warrant, no nothing. They kick down the front door and flood into our house. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And they storm past us. They go into the back, and they go into our daughter's bedroom. She said there was 5 guys. I'm going to say there was at least 10. I don't know how many made it into her bedroom. She says 5. I'm thinking the number is higher. And wake up our daughter at gunpoint. She's like 8. And she freaks, of course. And Rita and me, I'm still a little disoriented. I don't know what's going on. And Rita gets pissed off. And she's like, our daughter's in there. She immediately gets handcuffed. Boom. They pull her out of the house. They pulled me out of the house. And now you get the terrifying aspect of what happened. I don't remember the details, and I'm not going to waste time with that. But they pull us all out, and they ransack the compound. They go through everything. And Rita's lucky she didn't go to jail that night because she was, as she should be, she's a mom, and she's upset. And they handcuffed me, and then they eventually took my handcuffs off, but they wouldn't take Rita's off. And they would not answer any of our questions. What are you doing here? What's going on? Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Sit there, shut up. It was the most oppressive thing that you can imagine going through. Like I said, no paperwork, no warrants, nothing like that. Just shut up. We're searching your house. And it turned out, in the end, they were looking for, and this is where I'm not making anything up, they were looking for a laptop computer that allegedly was stolen from someplace a couple of cities over. Somebody was caught, and they fingered the son of one of the people that lived in the back apartment in the back. That's it. All of that. And I'm talking about helicopter, 20 police cars, 50 SWAT team taking over this compound for a laptop computer. That's what all of that was for. Not guns, not drugs, not murder, not armed robbery. That's what you would think. Terrorism, something, C4, a laptop. A complete invasion of our rights and privacies and everything that we hold near and dear. And that's what Rita was talking about. And it was a crazy, crazy night. All right. So that's the story. Just over 140 characters. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi.
This is Destiny.
Hi, Destiny.
And excuse my voice, but I've been sick with laryngitis and a bad cold.
Oh, you sound
and
fine.
Good thing viral, and I don't have pneumonia. That's
okay.
The good news. The bad news is I have to go in the morning with my ankle, and I would like everybody to believe in prayers because I certainly do. I've seen prayer in action. Prayer after all my doubts for years. I got my answer, and it's not religion.
What is it?
I'm very spiritual.
Right.
And excuse me because I can't hear you very well, Jimmy, because I'm on my iPad. And for some reason, I can't hear you very well. But I just want to say, those that believe in prayer, because it could be a blood clot, to pray that even if it is, that he'll take care of it.
Wow.
Because God did not get me
right.
10 years of being in isolation and me taking care of my health. I went from 165 pounds to 138 in less than a year. And I'm diabetic and I have blood pressure which is under control. And that's thanks to my good doctors and the pharmaceutical drugs. And I know many people are terrified of those, but they have helped me. They've got me through, and I'll get through this. And I'm so sorry that you and your family went through that. And that is so ridiculous, and that really pisses me off because I've heard the same story where a baby in her playpen, the flash bomb landed there, and that baby survived, but she's disfigured for life. And I'm so mad at the SWAT teams because that they don't double check their facts.
Right.
And I'm sorry that your family had to be terrorized.
Yeah, it was a crazy night, but Destiny, it's about you, and so we'll get the FADERNIGHT family behind you, and we'll get some positive vibes going your way. All right.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, and thank you for being there, and Rita, and all your crew, and thank you, FADERNIGHT.
And you know they're listening to you right now, so just go and take care of business tomorrow. Do what a FADERNIGHT would. All right.
And I'll let them know in the, I can't say it, the squeaker.
Yeah, they know. They know.
They do know. Thank you, Jimmy, and all you FADERNIGHT.
Thank you, Destiny. Be safe tomorrow. Let us know, okay?
Bill, and good night, everyone.
Yeah, good night, Destiny. There you go. FADERNIGHT unite. Let's get behind Destiny. So she may have, she's got a problem with her ankle. Maybe a blood clot. Wait, you know what? It's better to go and take care of it now and find out now than later, for sure. So, Destiny, just go out there and take care of business. And all of us here at Fade to Black are 100% behind you. You know that. That's what I love about this, man. We are a huge, great, big family. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Take a quick break right here. It's Thursday night. It's FADERNIGHT. 323-825-5045. I'm watching that. What was on that computer? It was brand new. It was in a box. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Did you ever turn to your radio for your favorite talk show to find that it's been preempted for this?
In the air to deep right center. Back goes Lewis to the wall, and it's out of here!
Or this?
And I'm ashamed of you, Hillary, for voting for it.
Do you have a favorite talk radio program that's not available in your city? Just go to TalkStreamLive.com for links to the best streaming talk radio shows. At TalkStream Live, you will find live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All your favorites are here. With such a large selection, you will also discover some new favorites. On the go and still want to listen? With the mobile smartphone, simply type TalkStream Live on your internet browser. Now you can take internet radio with with you. You will also find hundreds of music, news, and sports streams. Best of all, the TalkStream Live directory is free and there's never a login required. Remember TalkStreamLive.com, the fastest route between you and your favorite talk radio show.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm shedding clothes. I don't know what's up with our air conditioning down here in the bunker, but it's hot. I'm half naked. Yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you. 323-825-5045. It's Thursday night. It is Fader Night. It is certainly the best night of the week, and I want to take this opportunity right here to say thank you for letting me vent at the top of the show. I'm a little angry right now, and you can tell that, but it's frustrating because when you go on this road that we are on here with Fade to Black, all of us, the entire team, you know, and you go through school and you have your dreams and there's just a certain way you want to deal with things out there, and you think that it's all the same, right? That journalists and newscasters and everything, that they have the same sense of responsibility to not only get at the truth, but to unveil things and expose and be the champions of your neighborhood and your community. And I'm not going to lose sight of that. But it is just so frustrating to know that this is going on, you know, and it has truly been relentless. And we broadcast every day live. You know, we are out there. We are doing this 3 hours a night, you know, and it's hard. And, you know, you try to stay focused and you're always, you know, doing the right thing. We never swing off that path. We never misrepresent. And that's all we do. You know, but there are the vast majority out there. They don't care about that. They don't care about the truth. They really, really don't. And it's shocking to me. And I know that all of you get it, but it's just sometimes I reach a breaking point. And I do want to be the guy that's happy and runs down the street, you know, chasing rainbows, you know, go to look at puppies at the pet store. That's me. Right? That's me. That's my outlook on life. And just sometimes I reach that point where enough is enough already. And then today, going through everything else and then this thing in front, I'm done, man. I'm absolutely done. Let's go back to the phones. Hopefully you have something happy for me tonight. Who's calling?
Hey, Brother James is Libertas. How are you, my friend?
Oh, my goodness. How are you?
It's been some time, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Just bring me some good news. What do you got?
Oh, man, I don't have any good news, but I might have a good lead for you. But, hey, we're dipping our toes in the political water a bit lately, huh?
Well, it's not, you know, and thank you for recognizing that, because the answer, well, this is the truth. The answer is no. Absolutely not. Look, I could do, if we went down the politics road, right, that's 2 years worth of shows. And you know what? Politics is the easiest show to do in the world, because every single day you got a fresh bunch of crap that you can talk about. right? Politics is the easiest. But no, I don't talk politics. What I talk is the conspiracy of politics. There's a difference there.
Yeah.
There's a 100% when we are talking about the shadow government and that version of politics and who is running things behind the scenes, and that's what I talk about. And look, and you've listened to this show forever, and you know that I have said from the very beginning of this election, from the very beginning, this is funky. This run is a funky run.
Jimmy, it is rigged, man, and 9 out of 10 people don't understand that the Republicans and the Democrats are private organizations. They are not public organizations. I shall never join either of them, and it is rigged. And people need to understand that. How about the superdelegate system? In my state, there's 2 superdelegates married to each other, and people have calculated that a superdelegate, they can offset the vote of 10,000 people.
Yeah.
So one family has 20,000 votes. Is that democratic? I think not, my friend.
I remember I was in 6th grade, and my 6th grade teacher at public school 102 in Indianapolis, Indiana, was named Mr. McWilliams, right? Black guy, real cool dude. And McWilliams said to the class one day, and I'll never forget, and it's funny how a teacher can say just one little sentence and it'll affect you for the rest of your life, right? And this is what he said. He goes, "Oh, you can vote for president if you want, but it doesn't matter." And we're like, "What do you mean?" Well, that's not, no, it's not the popular vote. No, that's not how a president gets. And he started to break it down, for the class. And it was so much to absorb and just to wonder, what do you mean? I thought we voted for president. Well, you do and you don't. Just let me explain, and it messed with me. Yeah, well, no, a president, no, he could get the most votes but still not win. I was like, what?
No, that's true.
And
but
I've never forgotten it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
I said I've never forgotten it. Never.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm as disgusted with the media as you are. As a matter of fact, I use them for entertainment purposes, and that's all I use them for. They're just disgusting people. And don't forget Mockingbird. It's still in play, man. I'll give you 2 examples. I've got a friend that, I would consider him somewhat progressive, but he watches MSNBC religiously. Now, I'll put it on there. I'll listen to some of the crap, and then I've got to change it. But you have Chris Matthews bowing down to Crooked Hillary, and he's having guests on espousing her positive virtues when they're under contract getting paid by her, and none of it is disclosed. And his wife is running for Congress, accepting money from these people, and he doesn't disclose anything. And I'll tell you another thing: they dropped it lately, but the big push on back doors to encryption, in other words, eliminating encryption. I'm watching an interview on CNN, and this Wolf Spritzer dude keeps mentioning encryption when they're not even discussing it. It was like he was subliminally submitting the word encryption. I just wanted to read through and pull him out, and I don't want to tell you what I wanted to do to him, but
yeah.
Hey, moving on, let me ask you a question. Did
Sure.
you happen to see CIA Director John Brennan, part of his speech before the Council on Foreign Relations regarding, I think he called it aerosol, stratospheric aerosol injection?
Yeah, I read some of the transcriptions on that were sent to me. I didn't see the video. Did you?
Yeah. He kept using the term "we could." In other words, the bottom line is we all know they are, and have been for a very long time. But just finally listening to him saying it, is very, very strong evidence for people. If any of the Fadernaughts want to surf YouTube, throw in the search part, CIA Director discusses geoengineering.
Okay, I'll do that. And they'll get it out there right now listening to you. But I
have...
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. I have the rest of it, too, if that doesn't get you there. It's only 2 minutes and 47 seconds, but you got to listen to it. All it does is validate what we've been talking about for so long. And I don't know if you want to dump me yet, but we do need police reform in this country, Jimmy. I was brought up to respect police, but it's out of control. You can't have police investigating police and DAs who are friendly with them, that work with them every day, investigating them. We need to probably train them better, pay them better, and stop hiring the people that don't belong there. All the people that were bullied in school, or they got the little man complex, and man, they're going to, in the terminology they use, I gave them a command. Jimmy, nobody gives me a command. Doing things like stopping people and shining flashlights in your eyes. Jimmy, if you want to piss me off, shine a light in my eyes. You know what I mean? The list goes on and on and on. There's no end to it. But anyways, thanks for your time tonight. See if you can catch the Brennan thing.
I will check that out. Thank you so much, Libertine.
Yeah, very good.
You got it.
Take care, my friend.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
He brings up a really good point, and let me expand on it, which is my rant at the beginning of the show was about exactly the point he tried to make, which is it's about training. It's about training the police because they're... If you remember a few days ago, no, actually it was last Friday or last Thursday when I spoke about what went down in Baton Rouge and Minneapolis. The only time, I need to make this clear, the only time a cop needs to shoot somebody is when a gun is pointed at him in his face. Other than that, that's it. And and I'm talking about reaching behind. We thought he had a knife. He was reaching. He was there. He looked at me. He twit. No. That's it. There needs to be a clear definition in the law right there. And I said this last week, and I really mean this. Somebody's going to have to be made an example of. That's it. One of these cops is going to have to go to jail. So the rest of them just understand that, look, there's a difference between a gun in your face and you think he might have a weapon, so I shot him first mentality. Okay? Everybody keeps their wallets in their back pocket. Everybody keeps their registration in the glove box. That's it. Yeah, there may be some criminals out there that keep a gun in the glove box, but that's the job you signed up for. There are bad guys out there that are going to have a gun in their back pocket next to their wallet, but that's the job you signed up for. You got body armor on, and if you got to take one to the face, that's your job. If you don't want to do it, go get another job. But what we cannot have here is shoot first. Oh, he was reaching for a puppy in the back seat. My bad. No, it's not your bad. You're going to prison. You just killed somebody. There needs to be a clear definition there. That's all. And the training needs to be there for that. Look, if you see a gun in somebody's hand, you're already there. Shoot him. I get that. But anything short of that is murder. That's all it is. It's nothing else but. When those two cops, and I've had so much email, Jimmy, you don't know, man. It's uncool, man. You haven't heard the cop side of the story. I don't need to hear the cop side of the story. Did Alton on the ground, did he have a gun and point it at one of the cops? No. End of story. Two cops on top of a guy on the ground. That's it. You know who won that battle? The cops have. There's no excuse. There is nothing the police can say to defend shooting a guy in the chest when you've got him on the ground. Okay, so that's a training issue. It's a training issue. And if you can't deal with it, if you're a cop that cannot deal with that, and you want to continue with, well, but what if he's reaching for, well, then you know what? You need to go get another job. That's what you need. Police work is not for you. Okay? And somebody else sent me an email. I got so much. Man, do you know that protect and serve? Man, do you know what that really means, man? Do you know that really went out the window? Man, it's not about that. You need to know what you're talking about. No, I don't. Don't defend the police in this. You cannot. You can't. You can't take that kind of position, and I won't. It's really that simple. I mean, I know so many cops, man. They're so cool. So cool. So cool. I got a friend of mine that has helped me out a couple of times. I needed help. I mean, I had an issue. I've got his phone number. Pick it up, called him, and when I needed him, he was there. Advice, answer questions, whatever. And I have picked his brain, man. I've gone out to lunch with him. Let me tell you something, how cool this guy is. You remember in Pulp Fiction when Samuel L. Jackson has got the wallet that says BMF on it? You know what I'm talking about. That really cool wallet, right? At the beginning, and it puts the wallet in the bag, and does it say BMF? Yeah, okay, that's mine, right? That wallet. The cop that I'm talking about, I mentioned that wallet to him one day about how cool it was. And because he had one. He had the wallet, right? With the stitching that said BMF on it. And I was like, dude, that's so cool. Week later, showed up. Gave me that wallet. I still have it. I've never used it. It's still in the box. That's how cool this guy is. And I've asked him, about racism and the blue line and the code, and he said, yeah, it's out there. It is, and I have to respect it. But by and large, man, cops are out there. They're just family dudes. They're out there. They really, really, really want to just help the community. That's what they're there for. But there's bad guys out there too, and I get that. I do. And it's about training. And if there are guys that are there that just can't accept what their responsibility is, which quite frankly, you could die. It's a dangerous job. But that doesn't entitle you to shoot first on presumption, on a guess, on a thought. You can't do that. You just can't take somebody out for that reason. So, all right, 323-825-5045, 323-825-5045. Let's get to a couple of things that are in the news. It turns out that the rumor turned out to be true. Donald Trump was just announced, I was just reading it right here, that he has picked Mike Pence, governor of Indiana, to be his running mate. Now, that's today, Thursday. We'll find out tomorrow if indeed this is the case. Now, the media jumped all over it earlier today, and I understand that, citing, leaked inside information. And then later on, earlier today, another Trump insider came in and said that things could change. And I'm just thinking to myself, whatever, man, nobody really cares. Two words come to mind: drama queen. And, you know what? I'll apologize for that. I don't want to offend any real drama queens out there that are working hard to be a drama queen. I don't mean to do that comparison. What I meant was drama king. I don't want to offend the drama kings out there as well. But Taiwan, did you guys see, Rita, maybe you can post this in Twitter really quick. Over on our Facebook page at Jimmy Church Radio. Over on Facebook, posted a picture today of this ghost that was taken at the scene of an accident in Kentucky. Have you guys seen this picture? Rita, post it. Post a link back to Facebook and get that up on Twitter. It is insane. Just go and check it out. We'll get it up there on Twitter. And this guy's driving by, an accident scene and snaps this pic. And moves on, and there it is, man. It looks it's something. It's a crazy, crazy, crazy shot. Go and check it out. Taiwan is trying to figure out how hackers managed. This is my feel-good story of the day. I've got a few, but this is at the top of the list. Taiwan is trying to figure out how hackers managed to trick a network of bank ATMs into spitting out and throwing up millions of dollars today. Police said several people wearing masks went up to dozens of ATMs operated by Taiwan's First Bank. And this happened on Sunday. It was announced today. They spent a few minutes at each of the machines before making off with the equivalent of $2 million cash stashed in a backpack. They didn't use bank cards, but rather appeared to gain control of the machines with a connected device, possibly a smartphone. The police said that in a statement that authorities are now hunting the thieves, who say that they came from Russia in Eastern Europe. I don't know where they got that information, but it could be because the ATMs were made by a German manufacturer, Windcore Nixdor, and the machines were infected with 3 different malware files that instructed them to spit out cash and then deleted evidence of the crime. You've got to be kidding me. That is my feel-good story of the day. There you go. Thank you, Bob. There's the picture. Now look at where it's a motorcycle accident, and they're tending to him. If you want to see this picture, just go to Twitter, @JChurchRadio. Very simple, #F2B. And I'm going to retweet this. You know, let me do this now. Just let me bang this out there so everybody can see it. Boom, done. All right. And if you look, all right, look at that. What do you think that is? That looks like a spirit, a ghost. The motorcycle rider died a short time later, by the way. But there you go. It's making its way around social media right now. Thank you, Bob, for getting that out there for me. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. Nominations for the 68th Annual Primetime Emmy Awards were announced earlier today. And The People versus O.J. Simpson, an American crime story, scored 22 Emmy nominations. I, or Rita, did not know that TV series even existed. I think I kind of remember a blip about it a while ago. Never saw it, never saw a commercial. I don't know the network. I don't know a thing about it. But apparently, it was pretty good, I guess. 22 Emmy nominations. But I got more comments about that, but you know what? I'm going to hold back. But it failed to stop HBO's Game of Thrones, though, which came in with 23. And could it be that history is going to look back? We have so many great television series over the past, like, who could forget things like The Sopranos, right? Cheers, Seinfeld. These were all great, all the stuff, 6 Feet Under. There's a lot of really, really, really great series. And I never thought that, in my opinion, that The Sopranos would be topped. What was Oz? Oz was really good, too, as well. But I never thought that The Sopranos would be topped. I thought it was that great. I thought, how good can something be? But here we have Game of Thrones. I really think Ray Donovan is good, too, and so is Homeland. But what is strange about all of this? It's not network television. Isn't that interesting? Hi, you're live on Fade to Black right now.
Hi, Jimmy?
Yes.
Hi. Your side's breaking up for me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Hi. I wanted to talk to you about the Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
I hear your frustration, and I understand that. And I'm sorry about what happened with your family, by the way. That was awful. But I think I have a bit of a unique perspective, and I was wanting to talk to you about it. And that's that my father was a police officer.
Okay.
And he passed away about 20 years ago, but he served 20 years down in the Bay Area. And I come from a very multi-ethnic family. I am African-American. And I just wanted to say that I think I think that it's very hard for people if they're not the recipient of the unwanted racist attention, if they're a black person or Latino person or whatever they are.
Okay.
I think it's very hard for people to see it, especially someone who's fair-minded like you are. You say you don't see color, and I really love that. But I feel like it's very difficult for people to understand if they haven't received a kind of anger or hatred or violence committed on them. And also, just so you know, the stats on African American people being arrested or being, being
harassed,
killed or abused.
Sure.
Yeah, harassed or even abused or killed. There actually are official stats on that, and there's data from 50 police departments across the nation, and also their official FBI stats. And what it's looking like based on last year's stats, is that about just in general in terms of people being killed, it's 5 times more likely for a black man to be killed than a person of any other race. It's literally that's how the numbers come in, and so it's just there are a lot of numbers to look at in terms of the different times, like how many times they're arrested more, how many times they are abused more, but that's basically just to give you an idea about what the official stats and
I totally. And what was your name?
Oh, my name is Roxanne. Hi.
Hi, Roxanne. Listen, I totally understand that. I do. But what I need you, and as a black woman and a member of the black community, and your father was a cop, so you've got all kinds of things working for you,
That's right?
Okay. So now, based on all of that, I'm going to say this really quick. I don't understand what it's like to drive while black. I have no idea. That must, honestly, it's got to suck. I know that. I mean, the threat and what you have to deal with. I have so many black friends that I've talked to. Are you guys really paranoid when a cop pulls up behind you? And it's like, dude, are you kidding me? My mom has taught me my entire life, how to deal with that. Okay, so I don't have a clue. But what I do have a clue about is when Germany has 2 people that were killed by the police in a year, right? 2. And we have 1,500 here in the United States. Almost 800 were white. Almost 400 were black. And that at that point, I'm going to step back and say, you know what? I don't care about the black frustration because it sucks, but that's not my fault. I don't care about the Mexican or the Asian or the white. I don't care. We have a problem here with trigger-happy cops, and I don't think cops care what color you are. I honestly don't. So that's where we need to look at the bigger picture as a black community, the white community, the Asian, the other, and join up and go, man, you know what? Together, if we fight this together instead of arguing with this amongst our white brothers and our black brothers, and it's worse for us because, you know what? Bullets kill, man. And and that's it. We are stronger together instead of fighting amongst each other, and that's my point. And I need to drive that home. I don't.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
I know. Look.
Trigger happy.
I know it's frustrating to be black. I know it's frustrating to be an American Indian. I know it's frustrating to be Mexican. I understand, and there's frustrating things about being different races in other countries too as well. And it does. I was born white. I can't help that. But you know what? What pisses me off is that we're fighting about that. What we need to fight about is the problem. And the problem is we're all getting shot.
Yeah. And I don't agree with the fighting either. I really don't.
No,
just as an aside. Go ahead.
I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of it. You know what? This is what I wanted. I need to take a network break right here. I'm going to put you on hold. Okay. And we're going to finish this conversation after the break. Okay, Roxanne? Stay right there.
Okay.
This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. That's what I'm talking about. I love this audience. I love every single one of you. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back.
everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal God, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Are you tired of brown rust stains on your toilets, sinks, and clothes? Does your water smell and taste bad? Don't live with these problems anymore. HydroCare's revolutionary well water systems, available at Wave Home Solutions, gives you clean, healthy, great-tasting water from every faucet. They remove iron, hydrogen sulfide, sediment, and many other contaminants that are distasteful and damaging your fixtures. You'll be amazed how fresh and clean well water can be. Satisfaction guaranteed. Go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Hi, I'm Richard Dolan. When I'm not hosting my radio program, The Richard Dolan Show on KGRA, or writing new books on UFOs, I run a publishing company. I'm proud to say that Richard Dolan Press has published some of the most fascinating books available on UFOs and related subjects. They include Dr. Bruce Maccabee's classic analysis of the UFO cover-up, David Marler's breakthrough book on triangular UFOs, Dr. Richard Sauter's unique work on underground bases, and other classics by Grant Cameron, Chase Kletsky, and Dr. Bob Wood, not to mention intriguing works by Eve Lorgan and Laurie MacDonald that deal with truly bizarre phenomena. I'm proud to publish such high quality and original works, and there are several amazing books about to be released over the next few months. Go to richarddolanpress.com to learn more.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back to Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, it is Fader Night, 323-825-5045. And before the break, I was speaking with, was it Roxanne or Roxette?
Roxanne.
Roxanne, I won't make that mistake again. Roxette is cool too, though. Okay, that's cool. And her dad, she's a black woman, lives in San Francisco. Her dad was a cop. He passed away, I think she said 20 years ago. And we're talking about, Black Lives Matter. And my concern, and I need to drive this home because I just feel that although Black Lives Matter, of course, but all of us matter. And when I went and looked at the data today, and just let me say this, Roxanne, when I pulled this up and you said that it's 5 times more likely that, if you're black, that you would be killed, right? And now,
unarmed and black. But just so I can, as an aside, I should clarify something.
Sure.
Part of the data is included, take into consideration the percentages of the different minorities in the country. So compared to white people, black people, Asian people, Latino people. So the math with statistics includes the percentages, and then they calculate based on that, and then the numbers. And so just so you know where that 5 times comes from.
Right. And the and this is what is really funny to me. So today I looked at the same numbers that you're looking at, right? 732 were white out of the 1502 that were killed since January 1st of 2015. 381 were black, and 382 were of unknown race, right? Now, so if you take those numbers where you get white, that's because somebody checked off Caucasian, right? Boom, he's automatically white. 381 were automatically black, and then we've got this number that's left over, 382, that gets lumped into unknown. Also very uncool, in my opinion. But when you take those numbers right there, right, and you fidget those in any direction by 10 or 20, minus or plus, and it starts to work out to be nearly the same ratio as the population of the United States. 62% of the population of the United States is white. 49% of those were killed by police officers. So you're thinking, wow, and 24% are black, but yet the population in the United States is 13% black. So then it's 2.5. You know what? You start to play with these numbers just a little bit, and the ratio just works out, Roxanne. I'm not in any way being forgiving to the police or to anybody else. To my being rational about this is that the number is just too bleeping high. We have way too many people that are being killed, and the ratio is just about the same as what it is in the United States. And if you want to fidget with the numbers to get to 5%, 6%, or me swinging it down to 1%, none of that matters. It quite simply doesn't matter. We've got a problem of trigger-happy police is what we have here. And arguing about amongst ourselves, not only I'm just going to say, for instance, you and I, or a couple of people on TV on the news, or a couple of people on the streets, or over a card game, and want to talk about semantics, it's not right. What we need to do is unite and go, you know what? It's not a black or white thing. It's not a Mexican thing. It's not an Asian thing. It's not a black cop versus a white person that he shot thing. It's not about any of that. It's not. It's truly not. It's that we have had 1,502 people that were killed by the police in this country when the number should be 0. And we need to stop fighting. Yeah, we need to stop fighting amongst ourselves about who has been, more damaged here. Who has been more afflicted here. It's not about that. It truly isn't. We need to get together. And Roxanne, can you imagine? And I swear this would be such a rainbow, beautiful thing. But all of us walking down the street together, talking about this, because that's when people are going to take notice. They're trying to make us fight amongst ourselves and make this a racial issue when it's quite simply, clearly, to me, it is not. It's a situation.
I honestly think it's perspective, and I hear your side of it too. And I live that life that you're talking about, the dream. Because my family's multi-ethnic, and I'm actually in Oregon, but I grew up in the Bay Area.
Right.
And so it's very multicultural there. My family is very blended, and that's my life, But I do see the other things that happen. It's very frustrating. I totally hear you on that.
Yeah, and this is. Let me ask you, how old are you?
I'm 48, almost 49.
Okay, so we're the same age, which means that you and I grew up through the 70s, and we had to get through that, man. That was a tough thing for us as kids. The busing and the desegregation and all of that. You know what? But damn it, we did. And we came out the other side better people. And to have the media turn around and tell us that this problem is still here, when we know what we went through in the 70s. And I will not let that go. I mean, we worked really hard with the problems that we had. You know, you and I are the same age. So in 1975, right, 74, when we were going through desegregation here, and you're 9 years old in school and 10 years old in school, and your parents are telling you about this racism stuff, and you know what? You just got friends in school. You're just like, wait a minute, you know? And we went through all of that together. And here we are in 2016, and they're trying to make this back an issue for us culturally. You live in San Francisco. It's one of the most multicultural, beautiful cities in the world. You know what I mean? And you guys work really hard. Yeah, and you guys work really, really hard at togetherness. And now the media wants to tell you that you're not together. And I know what you're saying. You're like, wait a minute. Yeah, we are. It's cool up here.
Yeah, and I live in the town I live in now in Oregon. It's a university town, lots of colleges all around, and it's the same way here, you know. And it's just, I don't understand. Like, I see it, but I don't understand when I see the division like that.
Yes.
I really don't.
Yes, it's so frustrating for all of us. Now, how did your dad, you said your dad, was he retired when he passed away, or was he still a cop?
No, he was retired.
Okay.
When he passed away. So, yeah, he didn't get killed on the job or anything.
That's that. You know where I was going, and thank you for handling
Actually,
that.
I don't.
So,
where were you going to go? What?
I just wanted to know, you know, did he die in the line of duty? Did he, you know, the ultimate sacrifice? But he ended up.
No, thank God, no.
So he made it to the end and actually retired.
Yes, he sure did.
Awesome. And what kind of cop was he? Was he on the street? Was he a detective? What did he do? Patrol?
He was a deputy sheriff for a county in the Bay Area.
Oh, no kidding. Hardcore.
Yeah, but we grew up in the suburbs, so I mean, definitely things did go down. You know, they did, everywhere it was fine, but it wasn't as hardcore as some of the other, you know, cities in the Bay Area.
Yeah. There's some rough and tumble places in the Bay Area. Let's not make any mistake. The Bay Area isn't about hippies and good drugs and other things. Oh no, there's some.
It's not. Every place isn't like Berkeley, and we were in the North Bay, so you know there was that part of it. But yeah, it's definitely not like the '60s.
And I want to thank you for calling in tonight and being so honest with us. And like I said, look, I don't know. This is my problem. You know, it's one thing to grow up black, right? And I get that, or anything else. And here I am, you know, the fat white dude sitting on a microphone complaining about life. You know, what rights do I have to complain? And that's the problem with being a white guy. We can't have opinions or complain, right? I'm serious. I know you're like, Jimmy, come on. But it's really true. We as white guys, we're not allowed to talk about racism. We can't. We can't think about it. If it's a concern of ours, we're not allowed to voice, you know, and that is, and that's unfair to us too. And it's,
you're right. It's unfair. Yeah.
It's really nobody really knows, you know, what it's like. And so when I go and I speak about things about this that nobody else will talk about, then suddenly I'm a racist. And trust, that's the last thing that I am. You know,
I don't think you're a racist at all. And I think what some people feel like with Black Lives Matter, for instance, is that because of this ongoing history, it's like a domino effect that continues on for a lot of people. And so I think people are feeling like it's not just, you know, of course all lives matter. Of course that's true. But I think a lot of people who are you know, doing this grassroots movement feel like Black Lives Matter too. Not that other lives don't matter, but they matter too because for so many people it's felt like since the beginning of slavery that those lives haven't mattered. And things are better now. Things are better now for a lot of us. Not for everyone, but for a lot of us. And so I think that's where that's coming from.
Yep, and I totally agree with you, Roxanne, and we need to keep moving forward with this. We don't need to, you know, start infighting and go backwards. Not now. We don't need it now. And I know
it's really, really it's horrible. It's horrible.
I want to thank you for the phone call, and listen, be safe out there, okay?
Hey, great. I love your show, Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you so much, Roxanne.
Okay, good night.
Have a good night. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy. This is Michael and Cindy up in the Adirondacks. How are you, brother?
Well, yeah, I'm doing good, Michael. How are you? How's Cindy?
We're good. I got her sitting right here. You know what, Jimmy? You touched on all the bases tonight. You really did, and you couldn't have said it better. And I know a lot of people heard you. A lot of people are listening to you, and you need to know something. We're listening to you too.
I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. You know what's funny, Mike? Check this out. I almost brought this up with Roxanne. She was brilliant too, by the way. She was great. Is this is what's really offensive to me, is when you're watching the news, right? And they want to talk about this racism thing, and they'll always bring on a black newscaster to talk to the black guy about it. They're scared to bring on the white guy to talk to the black guy about it. Not in an offensive way or a confrontational way, just in general, because they don't want to offend. And that to me is offensive. It's crazy, man. And I'm not talking about some crazy negative, an argument. No, let's just talk this out, man. Why are you making it like it is? It's so funny. And that's the conspiracy at play, man. That is so strong. So strong.
You're absolutely correct in your observation that a lot of this is constructed to distract us from the important issues in our world.
Right.
So the moment we turn our direction, our focus, our eyes towards those problems, we're going to realize there's two things that come from that. The first thing is, one, we have a problem. The second one is who caused it and why. And you know what? It's almost time, not for white people to fight against black people, but for human beings to establish what they want for their future. Because I'll tell you what, the president that we have right now is filled with all kinds of problems that were created by, you want to call it a conspiracy, a theory. There's a difference between conspiracy fact and conspiracy theory. And Cindy's sitting right here. She will agree with me on that.
Well, what's really funny is here we have Obama, who's a black president, right? Strong black man, right? And he allowed things that were already bad when he walked into the White House, right? He ran for president. He didn't have to. He chose to. That was his decision as an adult. And he got to the White House, and he found out that being president ain't easy, number one. Number two, that you're answering to other people. You're not the boss, and you're not the last word. And number three, he didn't rein things in. And things have spun out of control. And this is where he failed. And if Obama, it doesn't matter that it's Obama or any president, Republican, Democrat, whoever's in there. This is how they let things slip away over the last 8 years. And it's a key word here. It's called globalization. And the focus has been the world and not us. And it needs to be us first. If there's something left over, okay, then we go and look at globalization and worry about something that's going on outside of our borders. But instead of focusing on here first, all of the money that has been spent around the world needed to be spent here first. The things that have degraded in this country, which goes not only from employment and the healthcare system, taxes, the infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our schools, our education system, our teachers. I can go on and on and on, the things that have been neglected here. And we're so concerned about the rest of the world first. And that's where he failed. And he let it slip out of control. And that
so much for hope and change, right? I mean,
we all did. Well, we do that every 4 years. We do that every 8 years. We hope that this is going to be the president that's going to finally turn things around. We always hope for that, and we need to have hope. And he's certainly, the first black president. Democrats going to go in and it's all about change, right? And you know what? And here we are 8 years later. And it doesn't feel a whole lot different than it did in 2008, did it? I mean, or does it?
Actually, it feels a little bit worse. And, Cindy and I are very aware of that. Her and I, between us, we've traveled to 44 different countries on this planet over a course of a very long number of years. And I can say this, that whether you're black or you're white or whatnot, Jimmy, that I'm a Marine. I'm a former Marine. Okay, I'm not in the Marine Corps now, but I spent 6 years in the Marines. And your friend Steve Murillo and I, believe it, I know a lot about Steve as well. And the interesting point that I'll make tonight is this, that not only was I a Marine, but when I got out of the Marine Corps, I went into the 10th Mountain Division here in New York State, down in Fort Drum. I spent 4 years with them. So I got a little bit of time in the military, and one of the things that I was taught to do was to honor the office of the president. Okay, you may disagree with your commander-in-chief, but you honor the office, because the office was something that was designed by Americans, for Americans. It was an act of faith. That's what it was. When we set up our Constitution, we started talking about our rights. We all agreed on some fundamental things. And those fundamental things have been divided and chopped up and pieced away. And our freedoms have been eroded by the very people that we entrusted to lead us.
Well,
our leaders shouldn't be trusted servants. They shouldn't govern. They should lead.
Mike, let me jump in and say thank you for the phone call first. But let me say this. There's something else that you're alluding to, and I want to clarify. There's something else that has happened, and it's been pretty consistent since the Kennedy assassination. And I'm talking about Johnson, certainly with Nixon and Ford and Carter. Leading up to that was the lack of respect for the office. And all of that leadership with Johnson, with Nixon, complete breakdown in faith. Ford, everybody laughed at. Carter, nobody respected. Nice guy, but was anybody respecting him or intimidated by him or listened to it? No. Now he's now he's more respected now than when he was in office. Very trippy. Then we had a pretty good little bump in the road there with Reagan. That was a good run. But then with the Bushes and everybody else, it's been a general lack of respect for the office. And I'm talking about from the Hill, the judicial branch, Congress, the Senate. They don't give a rat's ass about the president.
I know, and we couldn't agree with you more. Cindy and I both have a lot of experience. We have a lot of time in the federal government, okay? And we're retired. We're both retired, and we're in the Adirondack Mountains, and we live a very simple life. But up here, people, they still believe in the fundamental values that our Constitution establishes.
We all do.
True. Right?
Yes.
Wouldn't you agree, Cindy?
Yeah, we all do, Mike. But I just think that there's been a general lack of respect. So, and the next,
we're both agreeing with you, 100%.
Hey, Mike, let me let you go because I've got one call on hold I want to get in before the break here. And give my best to Cindy, okay?
Thanks, man. Listen, everybody up here loves you, Jimmy. You owe me 2 T-shirts, by the way, because my first-time caller thing, episode 301, I don't know. What do you do? Lose our email address?
I have no idea, man. Do you know how many shirts we ship out in a week?
You owe me 2 T-shirts, man.
Okay.
You know what?
We'll get them to you. We'll get them to you, Mike. I promise.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys have a great night.
Good night, Jimmy.
Good night, Jimmy.
Good night. Good night, Cindy.
Yeah.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. You're live. Oh, lost that caller. Okay, 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Josh.
Hey, Josh, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. Loving the show. I just wanted to ask real quick if you happen to catch
Josh, your phone is breaking up. Say all of that again.
I was wondering if you caught George W. doing the jig up here at the Dallas Police Memorial.
No, I didn't see that, and don't bum me out. Don't even tell me that actually happened.
Yeah, it did. It looked like he was hitting the sauce.
Oh, man.
Pretty freaking pathetic, man.
Yeah.
It was. unbelievable.
Yeah.
And,
oh man, no, I didn't see it, man, and I'm sorry that it happened. That's embarrassing. I mean,
yeah.
you know that family, and thank you for the phone call, Josh. You are the best, my brother. Be safe out there.
All right, brother.
Be safe.
You too. Bye-bye.
I mean, the Bush family, out of everything that has taken more hits than anybody else, it is certainly that family. That's the last thing they need. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, this is Dave in South L.A.
Hey, Dave in South L.A. How are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good, all things considered. All things crazy in the world. I'm all right.
Well, I halfway expected a call from you tonight, so there you go.
Okay, cool. You know, I think the most important thing is that, you know, even if I don't agree with you 100%, I'll listen to you. That's the thing I find that is missing in American discourse is people can't even get past whatever, you know, the hypersensitive word that the media throws out.
Right.
And then, you know, they stop listening. And then you're the bad guy. And then you're worthy of hate mail. And it's like, yeah, I hear you. I hear what you have to say. And, you know, maybe I could, you know, if I had the same amount of time, I could go through what I talk about. But I hear your point. You know, it doesn't make you a racist, and it doesn't, you know, any of that other stuff. I think the thing that is being tested right now is our emotional resolve. You know, emotionally, we're getting drained. We're getting pummeled.
What part of hey Dave, real quick, just and you know we're going to be up against a break, so I got the feeling I'm going to keep you on hold, and I'll bring you back after the commercial break, okay? But you know I'm from L.A., and you know I know L.A. like the back of my hand. You're in South L.A. Give me your give me your basic cross streets. What neighborhood are you in?
Well, I'm in Leimert Park.
Okay, all right. Now, cool area, right? Ethnic area for sure. Cultural, very.
Oh, yeah.
And now, me as a white guy, I can go down to the Park District where you're at, or anywhere on Central, or, you know, just heading, you know, down into hard. When I say hardcore, I don't mean hardcore. I mean, when I say South LA, that direct area, right? I can go down there and hang out and go into any restaurant or walk around, and there is no racism that exists there. It just doesn't. And you, as a black man, can come up here to Sherman Oaks, the whitest of white areas in LA, and hang. And there, you know, as when I say that we here in LA love each other and we all get along, it's because basically, by and large, we live with each other here, don't we?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Oh, yeah.
You understand exactly what I'm saying. So when I hear the people out of D.C. or Atlanta, you know, these big news stations, you know, try to push this racism agenda across the country, when here in Los Angeles, where we've got 20 million beautiful people that live here, we don't understand that. And we're a big cross-section of the United States. And it's the same. It's the same thing in New York, same thing in Miami, Chicago. You know, pick a city: Dallas, San Francisco, Seattle. You know, these are great cities that we've worked really hard to get past our differences. And I really feel that we have, and that we do understand each other. You know, and this agenda coming down from somebody that is trying to push this agenda, it's a conspiracy, man, and I don't think we should stand for it.
Well, our power is in unity. So what divide and conquer?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. It would, you know, listen, okay, I'm going to hit a break. Dave, I want you to stay right there. This conversation just got started. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Bespoke radio for the masses. This is FADERNIGHT. It's Thursday night, 323-825-5045. I'm talking about, there's a conspiracy out there, and they're trying to get us to give in to the darkness. And you know what? I'm not playing a part of it. This is Fade to Black. I'll be right back.
to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-618-WAVE, 888-618-WAVE, or visit mydryhome.com. mydryhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back to Fade to Black. Yeah, I'm pissed off. That's okay. I'm allowed to once in a while. I'm too happy most of the time. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Hey, Dave, check this out. This tweet just came in. Send a Mouse to College says, I'm all over the United States all the time driving a truck. This racism is made up BS. You know, he used another word. It only shows up at organized events. And then a spiritual warrior just agreed with you, Dave. He goes, I'm with Dave. I don't have to agree with you. In fact, I'm better off if I don't. but I respect and love the conversation. And that's exactly it, man. You know, it's better that we just sit down and talk, man, and hang out. That's it. Let's just do this.
Well, that is a very rare thing in American culture today. You know, once upon a time that was normal.
It was.
And it's not.
No. And once upon a time it wasn't normal. You know what I mean? We've kind of swung around. But here we are today. It's, you know, like I said, it's the cards that were dealt. But I just think that the issue is, certainly it's not racism. It is not. It is not. What is the problem is that bullets kill, and they are killing all of us. And bullets don't care what color you are, and apparently the cops don't really care about color as well. And the numbers really are just shameful. And it's when I ran those numbers, this is no joke. 49 people killed in the United Kingdom by police, which includes a trip and fall, whatever, right? 49 since 1920. 1920, man. Right. 1920. And we've got...
And has the New World Order taken over, any more than they have here? Come on.
Yeah, and so why is that? Why do you think they need to have this racial divide? Why do you think the power, the man, and you know who I'm talking about? I'm talking about the man. Why is it that they have to have this racial problem? What do they gain from that?
Well, it's easy. I mean, it's a situation that you can manipulate very easily in your favor. And you can manipulate both outcomes. You can manipulate anger. You can make people angry. You can get people to riot. But, can you get people to sit down and talk to each other and listen to each other and take the time to get to know each other? No. But, it's a very simple thing, to divide people. And once you have them divided, then it's like, you're attacking the puppet. You're not attacking the puppet master anymore.
Do you think they would be shocked if we literally just said, hey, you know what? It's not about you and I. It's about us against trying to fix this problem. And, we sat down together and like I said, if we had that rally in the streets, right, where we had everybody wearing All Lives Matter shirts on, and we marched down, seriously, the Rainbow Coalition, you know what I mean? That they would just trip out. They would just trip out.
Well,
because
you got to give people time. People need time to heal from this, and the fact is, we're getting bounced around like a ball in a pinball machine. Basically, people are having time to heal from the last episode before they're hit with the next one.
Yeah, right. I totally agree.
And so my question is, and perhaps collectively, we can come up with some ideas, is how do we not play into those hands of, it's this or that? How do we not play into their hands of, yes, there is racism in America, and yes, it exists, and yes, people are dying as a result of it, and I'm angry. But how does that keep me from, instead of chasing the shadow, going after what is actually there?
Yeah, I agree. And I honestly thought when everything went down in Baltimore, I really thought, and I know that you heard me speak about this loudly, but I really thought the guy that drove that van, that cop, was going to jail. I thought for once, right, that somebody was going to go to jail, and it didn't happen. And that's the thing. I honestly feel like one of these cops has got to go to jail. And just maybe it would start to straighten them out, because right now that they just feel immortal. That nothing can happen to them. And that God complex is definitely in play here, Dave. I really feel that. And
it goes back. Yeah, it goes back to the militarization of the police force. When did they start, stop using those outline targets and start using human-looking targets for practice? That cuts down on reaction time.
Yeah. Hey, did you hear my opening dialogue tonight? Did you listen?
Sure.
To that? Okay. And I know that you probably listened to that and went, you know what, Jimmy, you're spot on the money. You're pissing me off right now, but you're right. And which is this. I dare anybody to drive around Los Angeles, and every time you see a car pulled over, I don't care if it's Beverly Hills or if it's South Central. I don't care. If it's Venice, I don't care. Drive around, and every time you see a car pulled over, just drive by, look in the window, and see who's driving that car. and you will never see a white person pulled over. You just don't see it. And I'm not dumb. I'm not stupid. And I don't think I've ever seen a carload of white girls in handcuffs facing the wall while they're emptying the car out, right? Have you seen that? I haven't.
No.
Right?
I've never seen a Valley girl get her face smashed into the sidewalk at a pool party.
Right. And so I'm not stupid. But on the other hand, if that is indeed the case, and which it is, these are facts. This is not, I'm not making stuff up and willy-nilly here. Those are the facts. But if that's the case, then we should see 0 white people shot by the police and a lot more black and ethnics and other groups being killed by the police. And that's not the case. So that is the other problem that we have here, Dave, is yes, white people are being shot, black people are being shot. But you know what? The harassment goes to those ethnic groups and that profiling that is happening. I don't understand, and I'm offended by it. You know, I know you heard me say, when a cop pulls up behind me, I don't care. I don't notice. It's nothing to me. It might as well be a soccer mom in a van to me. You know, it's absolutely nothing to me. But when a cop pulls up behind somebody that's black or Mexican or whatever, and you guys are freaking out. And you guys deal with that. I don't know what that's like, and it's got to suck. And I know it happens because I see it on a daily basis here in this town.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So some people don't have to plan, their travel routes. They could just plan it by, what's the fastest route. Black people don't have that situation. People of color in L.A., they have to go around. They have to plan the route where they're not going to be pulled over, so they're not going to be late for work. So, it's a very different dynamic that's functioning here.
And that's just plain wrong, man. I mean, that is just plain wrong. I mean, what you just said to me, I don't know. A couple of years ago, Hilton, one of my producers here, he's black, right? I went to school with him. Great guy. He lives in South. He lives like on 83rd and Central. Okay, he is right. Okay, you know where I'm talking about. He's right there. Okay, now, and he comes up here to the Valley, to Burbank for the show. And one day on the show, I go, so dude, Hilton. Seriously, you're paranoid when a cop pulls up behind you? And he, on the air, was like, are you kidding me? You're joking, right? You have no idea what goes through our mind. That's all we try to do is avoid that. That's all we. And he goes, man, I got my insurance. My car's paid for. I got a good license. I've got no warrants. I got nothing. I shouldn't be scared, but I'm freaked out of my mind. It could be my last day. Exactly. What kind of fear is that to go through? And so when somebody hears you say that we have to plan a route to work, right? We have to think things through in 3D so we're not late. That's insanity to me, and that's completely offensive, but it's the truth, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. We got a lot of problems to work on. There are a lot of things to work on in this country. Take your pick.
Thank you so much.
But, turning on each other, that's not... turning on each other is not going to be the solution by any stretch of the means. And just in closing, if you get a chance, please consider, if you find someone who's knowledgeable on the subject of Sun Ra.
I just got a Sun Ra book in the mail today. I can't believe I cannot believe you just said that. Did you send it to me?
Telepathically, yeah.
Hey, Dave, behave and be well and be safe out there, man, and you know what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, you too, Jimmy.
You got it.
Peace.
Bye-bye. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy. RJ from the Arctic. How you doing?
Oh, no. How are you, man?
Yeah. You should have seen this phone call coming.
How are you, brother?
Yeah. I'm doing good.
Okay.
Hiccup here, but other than that,
okay. So before we even go one step further, I want you just to share with everybody where your mindset is coming from. What is your employment history?
Oh, gosh, let's see. 1980, I got involved in law enforcement and worked for 3 agencies in Washington State. And then I did 19 years there. And then I spent 1 year up here in the largest jurisdiction in the United States, which is the North Slope Borough. And I spent 1 year with those guys until 9/11, and then I went over to private industry security for the oil companies in Alaska.
So it would be safe to say when it comes to procedure, when it comes to law enforcement, experience on all levels, you would be able to speak in confidence.
I would hope so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I have some different ideas too. So, I'm not your average cop. Not every cop does stand-up comedy in the middle of Seattle or a police officer and stuff like that. So I come from a little different angle. And plus the fact that I've raised over 13 children that are a mixture of Native American. One of my sons is black. So you know what? On that point, I have to tell you that my son, who's kind of a wild nut, he's 22 now, but when he would go out and party, and I know he does this quite often still, it scares me. It does. Because I know the area he's in has a lot of rednecks in it and stuff, and I worry about that constantly.
Sure.
And he has had contact with the police in that area in the Northwest.
Of course he has. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But it's not exactly what I would have expected. And, he has been treated absolutely great every time they've contacted him, and I'm so grateful for that. On the other hand, I have to take offense to not really offense, but I have to bring up the fact when you made your comment about a police officer should not shoot anybody until the gun is in his face.
Right.
That leads nothing but to a lot of funerals for cops, and I've been to 5 of them myself.
And Randy, I realize by me saying that, I opened up the door to not only that criticism, but that debate, and I totally get that. But let me flip it back on you, okay? Me as a private citizen, if I have a concealed and carry, and I'm allowed to walk around with a gun, does that mean I get to shoot anybody that I think is reaching for a weapon? No, it does not. And so that same responsibility needs to be on the police. The police side, it's in my opinion, that the police sign up for the most hazardous, craziest job there is, but they know what they're getting into. And therefore, if I'm walking around with a gun, and the only time I am, as a private citizen, that I'm allowed to shoot somebody is when my life is threatened and somebody's pointing a gun at me or coming at me with a knife. Those are the laws. And so that same law has, and look, it sucks. It sucks. But it should be this exact same situation. And I'll tell you why. These last 2 shootings last week were exactly why and exactly what I am talking about. And you're absolutely, would it mean to, it could, but you know what else? I can guarantee you it would result in a lot of innocent people being shot by the police. Okay, so.
Yeah, and I agree with those last 2 shootings were very questionable. I realize, actually, there's been a bunch. And the officers weren't indicted, and I'm going, what?
Right.
Yeah, and so I understand where you're coming from, too. Like I said, the only thing I took offense to, or not offense, but I disagree with, was when you said the officer shouldn't do anything until the gun is... It's too late, Jimmy. You can't do that.
Well,
you can't do that. If a man has a weapon, he's bringing it out of his holster or out of his whatever, he carries it in. It's too late. You can't do that. But I understand what you're saying. And for me personally, I would not fire a round until I saw the metal.
Yeah, and again, there needs to be a really, really, really difficult and hard look at what the circumstances are before a police officer can pull the trigger. It's a sobering thing that we have to do, and we all have to look at the safety of those police officers. We have to take that into consideration. But I can guarantee you, Randy, right now, that less innocent people would be dead, and that's the crazy part. I don't know how, I'm so passionate about this because if the laws apply to me as a citizen, one way, but yet with the police officer, because of them having this broad, and this was settled like 14 years ago in the courts, and which opened up this broad spectrum that they are allowed to shoot somebody, right? And that's why nobody goes to jail anymore. No cops go to jail for this at all, because there's this broad opening in the law on when they can and cannot shoot somebody. And we've got to close that back down. We got to narrow that gap and get it closed back. And that's my opinion.
I think it's coming. And there's been so many shootings over the last several years here that are just questionable. And I've always said it's not our job to be executioners. That's not what we're cops for. And I don't understand that mentality. And there used to be a time when, if somebody comes after your gun, you can protect that gun and you can, get it. We used to do the fight for life. I guess they still do it. I don't know. But in the academy, that was part of your training. You have to learn to take control of a person with your hands. And it should escalate from there. But there's been a lot of shootings where, I agree with you on that point. There's a lot of questionable shootings taking place in this country.
Yeah, 1,000.
I also don't agree comparing it to like Germany, which has 80 million people, the United States 316, and our social makeup is totally different. Totally different.
Like I said, it allows you to put it into context, and so when you look at Germany, where 2 were killed last year, and us 1,502. Shot and killed by police officers on duty, not on accident, not hit by a car. We're talking about shot. 1,502 in a year and a half. And I've got to go back to 1920 to get 49 people killed in London by police officers, which included everything. Auto accidents, whatever, hit in the head with a rock. And
also remember, they didn't even carry guns. They literally did not carry weapons until, probably 1980 something.
And still, it's
not carry weapons.
No, and it's still hard to if you're a cop to carry a weapon. But we have to look at and like I said, Canada 133. So in the entire country, going back to 1932. But here, it's 1,502 in a year and a half. Do you know what that number would be like if I went back another year and another year and another year? Now, the next thing you know, we're looking at 10,000, 20,000. It's insane. It's an insane number. Hey, Randy, thank you for the phone call.
United States is a violent country. Yep. Okay.
Thank you, Randy.
Good talking to you, Jimmy.
Behave and be well.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy. This is John Wishnot giving you a call. Just wanted to chime in because it's a topic that's dear to my heart. As those that some people know and don't know, I've had a career in law enforcement. I started everything from originally working as a corrections officer, then moving to the Sheriff's Department Patrol, and then eventually working for the federal government. And one thing that, the one thing that I just wanted to comment on is that oftentimes the media will show footage that's not including the first 30 seconds or the first 60 seconds.
Yep.
And we immediately just go straight to the police officer, discharge their firearm, this, that, and the other. Now, outside of the actual use of force, classes that I took, I also took concealed carry weapon classes. And one of the very first things that they drilled into our heads, just as a citizen in any state that you're allowed to have a concealed carry weapon permit, is that if you are being pulled over, it is your responsibility to let the officer know that, hello, I have a concealed carry permit, and keep your hands on the steering wheel. Now, even though I'm a law enforcement officer, if I'm being pulled over, and it has happened, I keep my hands directly, right on top of the steering wheel. I don't move my hands away from the steering wheel, and I alert the officer. I either say, "Sir, I'm an off-duty police officer," or, "Sir, I just want to let you know that I have a concealed carry permit and I am in possession of a firearm, and I am not going to make any motions until you direct me to make those motions." And I believe that if everybody followed those simple rules of just listening to the police commands, if for whatever reason they say, "Okay, well, don't move your hands, just keep your hands completely visible," that a lot less attacks would take place. And once again, I understand that the media is trying to play this as a race thing, but from me, who've worked in Illinois in a country suburb where 90% of the population was white, to then eventually working in Washington, D.C., where that was reversed, it's you have to look at the statistics of where you're enforcing the laws, what that actual population is, and just simply, just following the commands of the officer. Because something that's important, and something that I've always been taught from a legal standpoint, is that do as an officer says, even if you don't believe them to be just, because after the fact, you're still alive, and you can then go forward and you can sue that police officer for violating your civil liberties, for anything along those lines.
Well,
but
hey, John, let me jump in. We're at the end of the show. So before we run into the commercials and you're going to hear that music, I don't want to be rude, but let me back up. I totally agree with you. Okay, absolutely. Maybe we would swing, but don't you think? And I just need a yes or no answer. Don't you think that 1,502 officer shooting deaths in a year and a half is just ridiculous?
Well, I would say that is ridiculous, but so is the 200,000 overdoses from heroin or cardiac arrest.
I totally agree, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about officers killing civilians. 1,502 in a year and a half. We've got a problem here, and I do. Okay,
and I do agree with that, but I also want to bring into the point also, does that take into consideration suicide by cop?
There's all of that. No doubt about it. No doubt. There's probably 10 of those in there out of the 1,502. So, John, do me a favor.
Yes,
call me back on Monday, and we'll finish this conversation. I promise.
It sounds good, Jimmy. Okay. And I just want to thank you for the great show that you always put on, and I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon.
You got it. Thank you so much, John. Be safe out there in Chicago.
All right, you too, sir. Take care.
I'll talk to you. Hey, Les.
Hey.
Pretty passionate show tonight.
Yeah, getting to hear from RJ, him being in the sandbox tonight was really cool. We had some pretty good discussions going on. A lot of people very passionate both about the racism in general and about shootings.
Yeah, there's a conspiracy going on there, man.
Yeah.
And thank you for being so patient. We got to go, man. We got 60 seconds. Get us out of here, Les. You're the best, brother.
All right. First, Jimmy would like to thank all the new callers and Fadernauts who phoned home tonight. Fade to Black executive producer is Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm and Mark D. Kovar. Special thanks to LJ3, that's me, Renee, Jonas, Mark Dunbar. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Fadey by Dale. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Space Boy. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, syndicated on KGRA The Planet. And with that for the week, Jimmy and I are out of here.
Thank you so much, Les. We'll see you on Monday, my brother.
Good night.
This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter right now at JChurchRadio. Email, go ahead, do it, Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. I want everybody to be safe. Go Backley Teppy.